Okay, we're visiting here today with Rummel football coach Jay Roth, and we wanted to speak to him about his team's ascent to the #1 ranking in the state Class 5A football poll. Coach, just I guess start with some immediate reaction to being the top team in Class 5A.
Well, when we heard that Acadiana got beat Saturday, we figured just by attrition would be the next guy up. So we were the next ones up, and it's an honor. I mean, the kids have worked hard. Again, I think it's based on this early season ranking about what we've accomplished the past 2 years, like all the other rankings are. But so far, we've held up our end of the bargain, and hopefully we can stay up there a little while, more than a week.
You seem to have become more comfortable with these kind of things, not to editorialize, but you do seem more comfortable with people having high opinions of you.
Only because I know if for some reason we stub our toe or we don't stay there long, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. With the system we have right now in high school football, it's not the end of the world. It's how good you are at the end. So, yeah, we'd like to stay there. Yes, we want to continue to win. We want to win our games, but it's not the end all of everything if something happens.
And, prior to this past weekend, we thought for prep football fans thought for sure they'd have a #1 versus #2 pairing. Well, certainly they do have the #1, although it's a different one, and in being Rummel, and Acadiana is still 4. So a #1 versus 4 pairing, a kind of regional, interregional matchup, Lafayette, New Orleans area schools. It sure seems awfully attractive.
It does. And Acadiana lost a team from Alabama, so I'm still going to say Acadiana's #1 in my book. I mean, they haven't lost anybody in the state, but it does make for an attractive matchup on a Saturday night. I don't know if we can outdraw Mississippi State and LSU, but I think there'll be a lot of people there who are just interested in the game. And I hope we can give them 4 quarters, because I know they can run some people out the park real fast, and things can get out of hand. I hope we can play with them and have a chance at the end.
You're familiar with Acadiana, having played them several times in recent seasons. Share with us some thoughts about what makes them, point specifically this season, the team they are, and then their program overall.
Well, if you really want to appreciate Acadiana, you have to see them in person, because film does not do them justice. And I say that to all coaches who've played them in the past. I try to tell our players that, you cannot get a grasp on how good they are or how fast they are or how they come off the football until you see them in person, because film just seems to slow them down. They're a running veer machine, and as soon as those linemen's hands hit the ground, they're coming out low and they're moving, they're getting movement, and they're doing it with not the greatest athletes sometimes, but he's been there long enough to have a system, and they are something to watch. I mean, I tell people who play them in the playoffs, and they call me back later, you were right, wow, they're better than I thought they were.
What about this particular matchup we have? I mean, it seems like a proverbial clash of titans.
Well, hopefully we were a little better on defense this time. We had some assignment problems last year, and they gashed us they rushed for over 450 yards, which nobody's ever done in the school history, and had over 500 yards total offense. And and then again on offense, we have to try to show up, because I think you got to score points against them. You're not going to beat them 14-7. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to outscore them. So you're going to have to score some points on them. Just like Shades Valley did last week, they scored 39 points. Well, that was a pretty good number. And if you play good defense, you have a shot. So we'll see what happens in a couple of days. I'm glad we have a few days of practice this week. It's a long week for us playing on Saturday, so it'll be good.
One last thing. You've given us a coaching perspective. What's your sense of how your team, your players, feel about this matchup and how they're approaching it?
People ask me, well, Coach, how you feel about rankings? How you feel about this and that? I can't get a feel on my kids, because they don't show me no emotion. You're #1 in the state. I don't get much out of them. You're playing Acadiana, I don't get much out of them. Hornville's vastly improved. I don't get much out of them. They're just kind of even keel. They're an even keel club. I even got on today about trying to show some emotion in games, which I thought we played pretty emotionless at Hornville. But in the end, they found a way to win. So maybe that might just be their attitude for the year. They might not be a team that's a rah-rah team, or, they've been up with some good teams in the past, so maybe they know they're good. Nobody has to tell them that Acadiana is good. And I don't mean us, I mean Acadiana. Our players know Acadiana is good, so I guess they don't need to hear it from me either.